Martha DeGrasse for AGL, and I'm joined today by David Saul. He is Senior Vice President of McGriff Insurance Services, now part of Truist Insurance Holdings. David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I think we're going to start off by talking about the unprecedented year that is not quite over yet. We're just into the last month of 2020. What are some lessons that you've learned this year?
Well, obviously, COVID has been extremely challenging for the insurance business. I would say primarily for my customers, a lot of it is having to do with workers' compensation. Obviously, employers are very concerned about employees and whether they're not they would be catching COVID in the workplace. So many of our clients have shut their offices. Some have limited personnel in their offices, and they're trying to make the best of the situation using basically a remote workforce. I can say from our own company, we're all working remotely at this time.
And how's that going for you?
It's actually worked out quite well. While it's great to see everybody in an office setting and talk about their families and what's going on in the world, I find personally that I have a lot more work hours to spend in serving our clients.
Okay. And what about the business part? Have you seen claims going up, going down? How has that been in 2020?
So far, we have not seen any specific COVID related claims. What we have seen this year are continued claims involving theft of copper. We've seen more from hurricanes. It's been a horrific hurricane season. I think it's either the first or second worst on record. We had, I believe, 12 hurricanes that actually hit the United States. And we also have global assets that we insure. And unfortunately, the last couple of hurricanes that hit Central America were costly with some tower collapses.
Okay, so you do have a lot of global customers. And what about demand for insurance services? That's on an uptick as well, I assume.
Demand increases. Obviously, telecommunications is a strategic industry. All of our customers continue to grow. Their revenue continues to grow. Their tower count continues to grow as well.
Okay, good. Now, another trend that we've seen a little bit of related to COVID-19 is concerns from some people that somehow 5G is related to coronavirus. And in the UK, of course, there was a lot of vandalism against cell tower assets. Has that been a problem for you or your business at all here in the US?
It's maybe one potential claim resulting from a fire at a tower site. I think the majority of the damage was to the carrier equipment and not the tower itself.
Good to hear. Okay, let's look forward at 2021. What's your outlook as of now?
The insurance industry, unfortunately, is facing several headwinds going into 2021. Obviously, there's a lot of unanswered question about COVID-19, specifically relating to business interruption claims. Many of those claims have been denied because insurance companies do have exclusions for viruses on their policies. Some of those have gone to court already. Some have settled in favor of the insureds. Others are just waiting. It's a big issue. The other issue is the zero interest rate environment that we live in today. Insurance companies obviously look to that interest for additional revenue, and right now they're not making any money on that float, so they are looking at increasing prices. Luckily, we've got very strategic relationships that extend 15 plus years with the insurance companies we use for our program, and we've seen very minor increases on our end thus far. The places where we do see increases a little bit beyond our control is under executive liability, specifically directors and officers coverage, and excess liability limits. those we have to seek other partners to insure those types of risks. And we have seen some price increases in those areas.
Do you expect that to accelerate, or it's too soon to say?
I don't know about accelerate. I think it'll just continue. I think the average rate increases that the industry, not my program, is seeing anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15%. Obviously, higher if someone's had adverse claim experience. And I think that trend is just going to continue into 2021.
Okay, great. Now, is there anything that you can extrapolate from your experience to the overall insurance industry that you think we will see in the year ahead, other than obviously the low interest rate environment?
I just think COVID-19 is going to continue to put pressure on the market. I think you're going to see companies continue to restrict coverage. They're just not set up to pay claims in the trillions of dollars. Typical, after 9/11, they have there is a charge now in everyone's policy for terrorism. There may be a government program now for COVID, for viruses in the future, where every insurance policy is going to have a small surcharge to go into a pot to pay for, a catastrophic claim in the future.
So that's something that you foresee might happen within.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. What about the tower industry? Your clients and customers are primarily tower companies, right?
Correct. Yep. We insure primarily people that own, manage, and lease towers. We also insure companies that develop and own Wi-Fi and DAS installations. We do insure some small rural telephone companies and also contractors and engineers that serve the telecommunications industry. We see continued growth. We have a long-term relationship with WIA. They endorsed our program, I believe, going back to 2000 when they were PCIA. So we have a great name in the industry. And again, our clients are seeing small increases on their premiums. So we do get a lot of growth from that.
Okay, good to hear. I'd like to ask you a little bit about the rural telcos that you insure. There's so much coming down the pipeline for them in terms of the RDOF. Do you see an uptick in activity there?
Several of our rural phone companies are building out their Wi-Fi networks
Okay.
and getting federal funds to continue that growth and use it as a revenue source. Obviously, landline business is tough pretty much today. So they are looking at other revenue sources.
Okay, good. And what about the smaller tower cos that you insure? Do you see any industry trends there for 2021?
I realized a long time ago that for the smaller companies that we write, it appears that their business model is to develop towers, keep them for 5 to 10 years, and then sell them to the mid-size or publicly traded companies.
So that continues.
That continues, and the good thing is, once they sell a portfolio, they'll start another portfolio.
That's works well for everyone, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Anything else that you want to highlight as you look ahead into 2021?
I just want to say that, I'm happy to be part of McGriff Insurance Services. We are part of Truist, which was a merger between BB&T and SunTrust. We are the sixth largest broker in the United States and seventh on a worldwide basis. So it does give us a lot of clout in the marketplace, which trickles down to help me in helping my customers.
Clearly. All right, David Saul, Senior Vice President at McGriff Insurance Services. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.